wildfires have devastated the island of Maui. Thousands are displaced and the death toll keeps rising. Nitsa Soledad Perez has more.
I'd say it's going to take years to rebuild and to come back to.
Pila Taufa was born and raised in the historic town of Lahaina, the former empire of the Hawaiian kingdom, a kingdom reduced to ruins and tales of horror.
Just seeing dead bodies on the rocks on the beach, bodies in the car. There was a kid underneath a car on Front Street. Looked like his dad was trying to protect him, but they just was burnt. Pets, cats, dogs, just all burnt right in the middle of the road. And then before the fire even got to this side, there were people running towards our house. Like their hair looked like it just got burned, their face was all black. And then there's just all just sweat running towards us.
The wildfires of Lahaina left a plume of death. The Lahaina blaze became the deadliest in modern American history. Dozens died, and so many others are missing. Pila lost part of his family.
I got an auntie and an uncle, a family of 4. Their daughter and their grandson, 7 years old, they were caught in the fire down there. They were trying to get away, but they were in the car. I guess the telephone just fell in their car and they couldn't, they just stuck inside, they got burned.
We would call for everybody.
He survived. Yeah. I, like so many others, wonder why there were no fire alerts or warnings from authorities. Officials have restricted access to Lahaina, while rescue teams continue to search for fire victims.
We're finally able to enter the town of Lahaina, where we're witnessing its utter devastation, and residents keep saying that it will take years before they can fully rebuild.
It's our home. We've lived here 30 years. Our kids were born here. We just don't know the next steps.
It was this family's first time back after running away from the flames in their cars.
It's like a bomb went off. It's the end of all of it. It's gone. It's gone. It's so weird.
It's hard to think, Jennifer said. As for the future,
we're just camping it out over here, like just waiting for them to give us the okay to go back in and help clean up, just do whatever we can.
After losing almost everything, they dream of a rebirth from the ashes. Nitsa Soledad Perez, CGTN, Maui.
For more on the impact of these wildfires on Hawaii, I'm joined by James P. Moore. He's the founder and CEO of the Washington Institute for Business, Government, and Society. Thanks for joining us. When I first saw the original pictures last week of this, I think for all of us, we had a hard time understanding the extent of the damage, the economic toll, the cost on lives, the cost on government. Where do we begin to assess the impact of this?
Well, it's important to realize that this is a sad day for America. We are used to tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, and even earthquakes, but we've never experienced anything quite like this. And every day we're going to be learning more, the individual stories of people who have had to confront all of this. At this point, as you and I are talking to one another, it's now been confirmed that 100 people have died. The governor of Hawaii, Governor Green, has declared that in the next 10 days he believes that anywhere from 10 to 20 bodies will be discovered, so that we could see that 100 number double or triple. It's really a very, very tough time, and the rebuilding is not going to take just years, but unfortunately it's going to take decades to return to what it is. Maui is an idyllic place. One of the things that many tourists do, and last year there were 2.5 million tourists who came to the island of a population of 165,000. But Maui, like other islands of Hawaii, was formed by a volcano. And so what people like to do is to be able to go to the volcano the main volcano and get up early in the morning around 2:30, go out to the volcano and watch the sunrise. And it is spectacular to look over that island. I had the opportunity to actually propose marriage to my spouse at that very moment, at that particular spot, and it's rather extraordinary. But 80% of Maui's economy has been really due to tourism.
It is what a lot of people would consider, paradise. And as you said, there are so many people that I know that have these extraordinary stories of being there. I've been in Lahaina Beach, I've been at Kanapali. I'm from the West Coast, and I can tell you that there are hundreds of thousands of people that have maybe not full, residency there, but they have partial residency there through timeshares and ownership in different apartments and things like that. It is a huge, huge destination for tourists and a lot of part-time residents. And the people that you speak to there right now, both residents and businesses, what are they telling you that they want help from when it comes to government response?
They really, first of all, there's going to have to be a great understanding as to how perhaps the system failed in terms of alerting people about the fires and what is being done right now. There's a tremendous amount of anger that exists in trying to see that business, government, and society come together to be able to address the concerns. It's estimated, you were mentioning $5 billion, but some believe that it could be closer to $10 billion that it's going to take to reconstruct Maui in the course of about a decade or 2 decades. And so trying to take what had been a paradise, a tourist's dream, and returning it to where it was is going to be quite something. Jeff Bezos, the multi-billionaire, has just announced that he will be contributing $100 million to the recovery of the island. And so I think that an awful lot of people are going to join together. Americans have always been known as being a very generous people when others have been hit around the world. But now we have to really work on our own backyard, and that's
right.
Maui.
Look, I have no question that between insurance companies, between generous donors, and the government response, there's going to be more than enough money to go around. The issue is you can't buy paradise. You can't replace trees. This is going to take a long time before the people there, number one, are comfortable with welcoming tourists again, because I have to imagine that industry is going to be impacted for the months and perhaps years to come.
No question.
So it's not the money issue. I think it's the people issue. Are they going to want to live there or continue living there, or do people simply just move to another area and rebuild their lives?
Well, that's a big concern on the part of so many people, even those who aren't living there, as to what Maui is going to look like. Some are concerned, for example, that there may be speculators who decide to go to Maui at this point when real estate prices will be low, and there will be a desire to be able to build so that it becomes really a paradise for millionaires rather than for rank and file individuals. But I think it's probably going to be a combination of both. Certainly there are going to be those who are going to find themselves wanting to really start anew on Maui. For example, one of the areas that people have the right of way, and that's to go over the land that is owned by Oprah Winfrey. And Oprah Winfrey was at the airport just a couple of days ago, walking and talking to so many of the survivors who were at the airport trying to leave, tourists as well as residents. And so it's going to be a very different kind of Maui, but Paradise will have a very different tint to it. But nonetheless, I have great confidence in the Hawaiian people and the people of Maui in particular of bringing everybody together, including the government and business, to be able to get them out of these depths of tragedy.
I know this is all that's happening the last few days, and maybe it's too soon to start this, but what would the first step be when it comes to the rebuilding process? Which stakeholders need to come to the table immediately, and perhaps when?
Well, government, of course, is at the head of the line, and I think we're going to be hearing more and more of how the Army, Navy, and Marines will be brought into play to be able to really clear the rubble. Over these next 2 weeks, we still are going to be watching and hearing the numbers of those that are found dead. Only 3% of that of what has been destroyed has been inspected to be able to come up with exactly what the harm has been. And indeed, I think we're going to be going through that exercise over the next couple of weeks, and then it's going to be a matter of clearing out all of that rubble and beginning to rebuild.
James Moore, appreciate you on this just horrific tragedy. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.